Hey anime fans, welcome to our channel Anime Rewind. In today's video, we are going to recap a 2022 anime series named A Couple of Cuckoos. So without wasting any more time, let's get to the video. In the first episode, we are introduced to Nagi and Erika, teenagers who were switched at birth. When they both reach high school age, their parents decide that the best thing for them is just to get married, so they can both be the children of both their biological parents and the people who raised them. There were some crazy parts of the episode, but in the end, both Nagi and Erika seemed willing to at least try out their strange relationship. Erika decides to go to Nagi's house. She doesn't know what it's like to live in the middle class because she comes from a family with a lot of money. Erika tells Nagi that she doesn't want to get married to him. After that, she wants to meet Nagi's parents, who are her real parents. So they go to the restaurant and eat simple food. Nagi worries the whole time she's eating dinner about whether or not a rich girl like Erika would like such a simple meal. In reality, all she wants to do is hang out with her real parents. Erika and Nagi have to live in the same house because of Erika's father. The main point is to bring them closer together. After all, in their parents' eyes, they are still going to get married. At first, they both didn't like this plan, but as time went on, living together gave them a chance to spend more time together and get to know each other better. Nagi also works hard at school to make sure he gets the first place on the next test. He does this because he has a crush on Hiro Sagawa, a popular girl who is the top student at the moment. He once asked her what kind of guy she likes, and she said someone smarter than her. So Nagi spent every moment he was awake studying for the test so he could finally tell Hiro how he felt. In spite of all the odds, Nagi beats Hiro and moves up to the top spot. She asks him why he wants to beat her so badly, and that's when Nagi gets the courage to tell Hiro how he feels. She is shocked, of course, by the sudden confession. Hiro then tells Nagi that she cannot accept his feelings because she is already engaged to another man. Nagi is, of course, even more shocked by this sudden news. But in the end, they go from being strangers to being rivals. So Nagi is still pretty happy with how things turn out. Erika has to move to Nagi's school because of some problems. Not only that, but she is also now in Nagi's class. Erika didn't tell Nagi about this big news because she wanted to see his face when he found out. As expected, Nagi is very surprised to see Erika wearing the same uniform as him walk into his class. Both of them agree to keep the fact that they live together and are in a relationship a secret. But what worries Nagi even more is that Erika and Hiro have become close friends. Sure, Erika is already well known because of social media, and Hiro has always been the school's idol, so it makes sense that the two of them would become friends. But now that his fiancée is becoming friends with her crush, Nagi can't help but think about what would happen if they both found out the truth and thought that he was a cheater. To make things even worse, Hiro asks Erika if she could come and visit her house. Nagi has already told Erika about her confession to Hiro, so Erika decides to play matchmaker during their study time. Even at school, she wore a Cupid outfit. Erika and Hiro were going to Erika's real house, not the one that she shares with Nagi. Nagi took all of his clothes off because he thought that he could finally have the whole house to himself. He walked around the house naked. Everything went crazy when Erika and Hiro walked into the house all of a sudden. Erika did her best to keep Hiro from noticing that she lives with Nagi. While Nagi frantically hid all of his things while still being naked, she tried to keep Hiro busy. After that, Nagi and Erika went to Hiro's house, which was said to be one of the biggest temples in the area. We saw Hiro working as a shrine maiden to help her parents, and there was a scene where Nagi told Hiro the truth about her engagement. Nagi gets the chance to go on a school trip with Hiro, Erika, and another classmate named Cheyenne. Cheyenne tells Erika that he is her biggest fan, so Erika decides to let Nagi and Hiro spend some quality time together. But what ended up happening is that Nagi can no longer pay attention to Hiro at all. He was always thinking about Erika and Cheyenne and how much fun they seemed to be having together. Hiro saw this sign right away and told him that he didn't have to spend the day with her if he didn't want to. Nagi couldn't answer her, so they decided to go their separate ways and spend some time alone before going back to the rest of the group. Erika told Nagi that she was looking for someone, but he couldn't tell her who it was because it would change his life forever. Sachi decided to live with Nagi and Erika in the same house. She said it was because her house was still being fixed up, so she had to live with her parents in a small apartment, which wasn't the best place to study. It made sense for her to move out with her brother and sister to a bigger house. Erika was so happy to see her long-lost sister again and spend more time with her. Nagi, on the other hand, was very angry about how quickly she changed her mind. He told her parents that he would make Sachi go home by the next morning. But when he found out why Sachi really wanted to move in with them, Nagi couldn't help but change his mind and let Sachi stay with them. Nagi and Sachi went shopping together to find their mother the perfect gift. It was kinda hard to do because they had never really gone out together before. Most of the time, Nagi said no to Sachi because he would rather study than go out and have fun with his sister. Not only that, but they also couldn't find a gift that fit their mother's personality. One night, a thunderstorm knocks out the power, making the whole house pitch black. Nagi is looking for a flashlight or anything else that could help them see better in the dark when he runs into Sachi, who had just come in. Since they can't see well, they tripped and kissed each other when they fell. After that, Nagi finally understands that a kiss on the lips is not easy for a girl after talking to Erika and Hiro. Erika gets so angry with Nagi that she tells him to admit that Sachi is no longer a little girl. Nagi finally figures out what he did wrong and says sorry to Sachi. This is the first time Nagi thinks of Sachi as a real woman, which proves that she should be one of the harem candidates. Nagi's problem is that he can't decide which of the three girls he loves the most. He can't stop thinking about it, and he cannot focus on an exam because of it. So for the first time in life, he was ranked 13th in his class, and that really broke him. After that, the fact that Hiro just stops paying attention to him makes things even worse. Erika was able to cheer him up and get him to stop being so hard on himself. Hiro can tell that Nagi is getting closer to Erika and even depends more on Erika than on her. This is bad news for Nagi. Erika tells Nagi that her grades at school are bad and that if she cannot improve them, her father will ask her to move out and live with her parents again. So, she asks Nagi for help studying. At first, Nagi didn't want to teach Erika at all. Even in the middle of the study session, he gives up on her. But when he sees how determined she is, he gives in and agrees to teach her as best as he can. Nagi and Sachi sell food at a local festival to help out their parents. Then Hiro shows up and asks Nagi out on a date after the festival. While Sachi's anger is clear to see, Hiro is told by Nagi that Sachi is his little sister. Because not long after that, Sachi and Erika are walking around and run into Hiro. Erika also tells Hiro that Sachi is her sister, just like Nagi did. Hiro finds out by accident that Nagi and Erika both have the same little sister. Because of this, Hiro might finally find out what's going on with Nagi and Erika. That's all for this video. Hope you have enjoyed watching this video. So, who's your favorite character in the movie? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so that you'll never miss any updates.